Hey everyone, welcome back to Confessions of a Game Master. We are doing our horror special. And that's where we talk about fear in the escape rooms. One time in the Hex Room, the nerd was a little afraid to do something, and so he turned to his mom, who was the detective, and she goes, "Are you scared, honey? Do you want me to sing Frozen?"
There was somebody who was invited to the game, but they weren't actually told that it would be a horror-themed room before they showed up, and I had to be the bearer of that news to them, and the person was just basically silent, dead quiet. All of her friends were talking, and you could tell that she was really having an emotional struggle there from the moment she learned that she'd have to go into this scary room. I was leading her into the room. I could hear her like whispering to herself, like, "You got this, you can do this. It's only gonna be an hour. You got this, you got this." And she's just like pumping herself up. And I put her in the room and I closed the door and I was like, oh man, she's gonna have way too much fun in this room. And she took her blindfold off and there was like a good 30 seconds. She's like, oh my God. And then afterwards, she was just the most proactive player I've ever seen. And I believe she was the first one out of her room too. She was just the MVP of that, and it was all, I think, because of the little pep talk.
So even though the Funhouse is not a horror-themed game, there are still people that come into the game almost expecting to be scared, as if it's supposed to happen. So I'll see someone in there who comes into the whole thing, sees the big clown out front and goes, "I'm gonna be terrified during this game." And so every time they open up one little thing, they jump because anything could be back there.
I've seen people open boxes slowly and away from them as if it's gonna like jump out and grab them, whatever's in there.
The funny thing about the Hex Room is that people make it scarier than it is. You know, there are no actors or jump scares in the game, but there will be times when you're going to escort a person into the game where they just freeze up and they just won't move. And I'm like, whoa.
One time I was putting someone into a room and they literally just fell on the floor, like grabbing the walls and couldn't close the door, and I was like, you have to go in.
I've seen people literally just melt the moment they get in the room, just, oh no, you know, and I've seen people that literally are completely composed, and then the moment anything, they will move something themselves, and the sound it makes as it moves scares them.
Some noise happens somewhere in the game, and they run to the door, and they're just like, "Help, let me out!"
You know, I've seen screamers just, ah! You know, I've had the people that, you know, like, they do the internal scream, just, woo!
If I had to escape a horror movie, let's see, I think it would probably be Saw, because it would be very difficult, but if you escape, you learn a lesson.
The Strangers, that movie, for some reason, horrified everyone that I know. But for me, I was just thinking, like, I would have stayed in that closet way longer than they did. Like, they had already shot their best friend. Spoiler alert.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3 with Lawrence Fishburne, where they become like psychic warriors against Freddy Krueger. Or I would escape Chucky, because I could kill Chucky. Chucky's like a doll, it's a small doll.
It follows, because then I can just become an assassin and use my demon as kind of a superpower of sorts.
So I hear you like horror flicks. Well, so do I.